morning, Deify here, and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo, where, I don't know, life got in the way, or I just avoided recording, so I'm kind of at a blank of what happened in the last time. We're on the Hanako route. Was that when we had, like, lunch with the two, and then went shopping with Hanako, or something like that? Gosh, I honestly don't know, so I'm just going to jump right in and see if I can remember. And we're going to start with chirping birds. Normally, this would be a good time to reflect upon the beauty of nature, but it's 6 a.m. Covering my head with my pillow, I slam my face into the mattress, hoping that the impact will send me instantly back to sleep. Futile. I toss and turn, but sleep simply won't return to me. Alright, nature, you've won. See? I'm getting up now. The lack of sleep weighs my mind down, and there's only one remedy for this. A nice, hearty breakfast. It would be nice to be the first person here, to be the first to dig into a piping hot pile of food, to sit wherever I desire. I hope it's not Kenji. It would have been nice, but even my exceptionally early start has put me behind the most diligent students. I guess there are quite a few people that have early starts here for one reason or another. A group of students in sports clothes huddles around one table, eagerly discussing game plans in between inhaling great gulps of food. Scattered around the hall are a number of bleary-eyed students, probably suffering from the same ailment as myself. Noisy birds. And of course, there are the people that actually enjoy getting up this early, the ones with their bags stuffed with textbooks and completed homework. It's hard not to despise people like that, even more so when you're tired yourself. Picking out a familiar face from the thin crowd, I head towards the nearest table. Lily sits alone, delicately feeling her way around a small plate of eggs with her fork. It's almost a shame to interrupt her and her clockwork movements. I wonder, is this how a blind person zones out? Simply moving in predetermined patterns learned over the years? Just like how a sighted person would eat while reading a newspaper. Oh no, now I'm wondering. Morning, Lily. I didn't expect you to be here this early. Oh, Hisao, you startled me. I didn't know you took breakfast this early. I don't. This is an exception to the rule. I'd greatly prefer to be late to school than early to breakfast. Lily gives a small sigh at my admitted tardiness as I begin eating my food. It doesn't take long for her to lapse back into her previous mindless nibbling. Each short motion lacks energy. I suppose this is similar to letting your eyes wander while performing any ordinary chore. But after a few repetitions of the find food, eat food cycle, Lily puts down her fork and dabs her lips with a napkin. Hisao, do you mind if I ask you a question? Damn, all I wanted is a little food and about 4 hours of sleep. And nobody says, can I ask you a question, for a simple question. Can I ask you a question? What's 2 plus 2? I'm struggling on my homework. Sure. Do you think of Hanako as a friend? Oh boy, here we go. This seems like a leading question. I guess so. Why do you ask? No real reason. Liar. I do have another question, though. Why is it that you think of her as a friend? Are you just answering for me? I mean, I said I guess, and you're just like, that's a definite yes. This is well above my level. What is she expecting from me? I'm not really sure. I guess it's because she's a little different in the way she deals with people. Since I've known her, she hasn't really connected with anyone. She doesn't seem interested in other people, and I think people are a little scared off by her appearance. Really? I thought that kind of thing was, well, discouraged here, discriminating and such. If I were to put it one way. She furrows her brow in thought, a move which makes me slightly anxious as to what she's plucking from her mind. Furrows brow. I'd say that you're a little naive. Naive? I'd be insulted if not for the slightly cynical grin on her face. I see. While Yamaku has a stronger sense of community compared to other schools, it's far from being free of conflict. Rules cannot remove human nature, after all, only suppress it. That's something I've noticed, actually. Just little things, like how certain people in cliques avoid each other in the hallways. It's no different than my old school, really. Even Lily and Shizune could be considered bitter rivals, even though they both seem like fairly accepting people. Shizune? Really? Really? Alright. Well, at least the Misha-tinted Shizune does. Thank you, that's better. Who knows what actually goes on with her fingers and behind her glasses? I guess you're right, but when I first came here, everything was a bit of a shock. I kept on making mistakes, or at least thinking I was making mistakes. Like when we first met and I said, "I see," to you. I didn't know if that was considered rude or anything, so I tried to just put it in the back of my mind, you know, in the trash, treating people any differently and that kind of thing. So I didn't. I told myself that Hanako and you and everyone else was just normal, and I tried to ignore the obvious. I talked to Hanako as if she were any other person, and so we became friends. At least, that's how I think it happened. But, you know, I feel guilty just from saying something like that aloud, as if it took extra effort to think of Hanako, or you, or anyone here as normal people. I don't think that's right. Hisao, I think you are naive, but I also think that you are a good person. It is perhaps one of your better traits. I suppose I can take that as a compliment. Tell me, are you free tonight? Whoa, Lily, no! I'm with Hanako. If you don't count homework, then I'm as free as the breeze. In that case, would you care to join myself and Hanako for tea? I don't really have that much money at the moment, so going out isn't really... Oh, I didn't mean going out. Just here, this evening. You can access the classrooms in the evening here? No, that's not what I meant. Hanako and I often use my room for tea parties together. Please feel free to drop by after dusk. Oh? Sure, I see no problem with that. What's your room number? That's my birthday! What? I love it. 225, room 25 on the second month. I mean, floor, there we go. Okay, sure. Well, then, I'd best be off. I have class representative duties to attend to, after all. Until this evening, Hisao. Yeah, catch you later. Hang on. There we go, now it's clicking, now it's good. Was I just invited to a girl's room after hours? Is that legal? Shoot her or something! There's the curfew here, but I've never heard any rules about visitors in the dorm rooms. Even still, this is enough to get my sleep-deprived brain jump-started. Add that to a lukewarm breakfast and you have one hell of a pick-me-up. I grudgingly go to class, still a little excited at the prospect of breaking the law, breaking the law. I feel a little like a kid planning to sneak out of his window at night. Well, maybe that's going a little too far, but when you compare an invitation to a party to 6 or so hours of lectures, I know which one wins. Misha and Shizune do little to relieve my boredom either. For once, they seem determined to actually complete Muto's assignments. Shizune always does that. Shizune, come on, she's always doing that. She hated you when you stopped them from doing it. Almost. Nevertheless, the day eventually winds to a close. I hurry back to my room to wash up and comb my hair. Thankfully, I don't run into Kenji. Yes! Before long, I'm leaving the boys' dorm. I nervously rap on the door marked 225, checking my watch once again. Oh, there's no dusk written on here. What time is it? Is that you, Hisao? The door is open. You can come in. Lily's voice lilts through the door and soothes my nerves. This is the first time I've been invited to a girl's room after dark. We just saw the outside scene. It was still fairly light. Even though I know there is no ulterior motive behind this invitation, don't be so sure. It doesn't stop my mind running wild with possibilities. One guy, 2 girls, 1 cup. Oh no, in a dorm room with a tea set? Oh, multiple cups, no. It's even worse. When I put it like that, it sounds a little dodgy, you're telling me. Giving a small sigh to steady myself, I gingerly put my hand on the handle and open the door, craning my head to see inside. Hello? I like this picture a lot, it's very cute. The door opens completely, and I catch my first glimpse of Lily's room. Her furniture looks almost antique, but the bare walls and flat surfaces are barely decorated at all. In the center of the room sits a low table, where I see a small tea set at rest. It seems that everything in this room has its place, possibly excepting the several piles of books stacked up against the wall. I like how there's just one mug, too, like not much of a party, really. My sense of vision isn't the only one to be stimulated. The faint smell of something can be picked up in the air. Nail polish, perfume, makeup. It's hard to describe in any other way than girly. My eyes finish their quick sweep of the room before returning their position onto the girls. Oh, we get the pan shot now. Nice! Lily sits next to the small table wearing very dark blue pajamas. Dark blue pajamas with shorts that show off plenty of her alluring pale legs. Hisao, keep your mind out of the gutter, wrong route. Opposite her, Hanako sits adorned in a conservative light pink gown. Her hands are firmly fixed between her legs, her shoulders forward, and her head down, as if trying to hide herself in it. It would be easy for her to do. It looks about 2 sizes too big for her. Waves of flannel flow from her frame, making her look like a child playing dress-up in her parents' clothes. She looks up to confirm my identity, and the beginnings of a thin smile creep across her face, before vanishing so fast that I can't be sure they were ever even there. There's no point in you standing in the doorway, Hisao. I take a step into the room, closing the door behind me. My, I'm afraid this really is a small room for the 3 of us. Would you like to take a seat? I slowly walk to the table and sit down, trying my hardest not to disturb anything along the way. I also can't help but steal a quick glance into Lily's top as I sit. No. To be robbed of sight would be a most terrible fate. Wow. Fantastic timing right there, Hisao. Well now, how about some tea? Hanako, could you please pour? Sure. Hisao, would you like... okay, come on, you got this. I would love some tea. Do you need a hand? No, I'm fine. Thank you. Lily finds it difficult to resist a smile at her companion's nervousness, something I can't really blame her for. Been a tiring day? Yeah. I relax at my place, opposite of the cabinet. To my left is a blue-clad Lily, and to my right sits the pink Hanako. The tea set on the table looks cute as well, as practical, painted red with a floral motif. It looks odd when contrasted with Lily's plain, but generally sophisticated-looking furniture, which leads me to think that Hanako might have picked it out. There's a slight ting when Hanako accidentally clips the teapot on a cup as she is pouring. She breathes in sharply. She must be really nervous, as it's not the kind of thing anyone would worry about. Hanako quivers at her mistake. It's okay, Hanako. There's no need to be nervous. Hanako seems to find some confidence in Lily's reassuringly soft-spoken words, and deftly pours the next 2 cups. Here you are, Hisao. Lily? Hanako carefully places a cup and saucer in front of Lily and myself. I could get used to service like this. Thank you, Hanako. Yeah, thanks. You're welcome. Lily searches for her cup, and upon finding it, sips delicately. I do the same. This tea tastes somewhat better than the tea we usually have at school. This is nice. It's so different from any tea I had before. Looks like you picked the right one, Hanako. You've done well, even if it was a bold move. Hanako's smile returns, redoubled. Even with her blighted face, her shy smile couldn't be called anything but cute. I'm glad you like it. Hanako, finally beginning to relax, sips from her cup. Come on, don't leave me hanging. What kind of tea is it? I want to know. I want some of this delicious tea. I'm guessing it's Earl Grey. No. Lady Grey. I'm going to guess Lady Grey. I could go for a glass of Lady Grey right after this. I might do that. I think back to my chat with Misha the other day. Is Hanako's behavior something to be concerned about? Or is she just shy? And then there was Lily earlier this morning. The concern from both of them seemed to be genuine, and they know the situation better than I. But really, how could I possibly help? I'm no plastic surgeon, so I can't really help her appearance, nor am I a psychologist who can make her more sociable. So what the hell do Lily and Misha want me to do? It's frustrating. Hanako and I are quickly becoming friends on our own accord, and because of that, it's like everyone wants me to solve all her problems. And I have no idea how to do that. No one can cure my heart, nor Lily's eyes, nor anyone who is here in this school. However, I see no harm in becoming better friends with Hanako. Now that she's warming up to me, I kind of enjoy hanging out with her. So, Hisao, are you enjoying yourself? Lily's words break me out of my reverie, and I take a second to reconsider where I am. I'm in a room with 2 girls in their bedclothes. This is something to be enjoyed. Yeah, it's relaxing. Almost like I'm not in the school anymore. Do you do this often? Quite often, but not as often as we take tea in the school building. Considering they do that nearly every day, that's not a big surprise. As I move to take another sip from my teacup, I find it sadly empty. That was delicious. Thank you, Hanako. Lily? You're welcome. Yes, you're most welcome, Hisao. It's nice to have a third person here. Well, anytime you need someone to fill that position, I'm always available. Always. Don't sound too eager, buddy. You don't want to mess this up for you. One must be sure to get one's point across in these circumstances. Alright, well you're going with conflicting data than what I'm giving you. Lily lets loose a yawn, which she unsuccessfully hides with her hand. Oh, pardon me. I think I'm a little tired. I think we're all a little tired. My, how astute we are tonight, Hanako. We really should head to bed. We all have class tomorrow. Yeah, I should go. Thank you for your presence, Hisao. Thanks. You'll come again? Not even a whole army could stop me. Ah, but what about a 7-nation army? Until you say a 7-nation army couldn't hold me back, I don't know who to believe. I'm impressed by your determination, Hisao. Either way, you're right. We'd best get going. I stand up and make for the door. Hanako gingerly stands up behind me. I stop and face her. Are you coming with me? Hanako instantly blossoms into full blush. No, not... This room isn't... It's okay. I was only joking. Oh, okay. Good night. Good night, Hanako. Good night, Hisao. Night, all. And with that, our tea party finishes. How magical. I'm still not sure what it is that Lily wants me to do for Hanako, but I don't want to let her down. I wait until the door is closed behind us before turning to Hanako. Hey, Hanako, you know... Oh yeah, this'll help. You know you don't have to be nervous around me or anything. I mean, we're friends, right? Right. We're friends. If you ever want to hang out or anything, just let me know. We still need to have that chess rematch, remember? Sure. But I don't think you'll win. Wouldn't be any fun if it was easy. So that's how I feel about chess. It's not fun. It's so easy for me to lose. I don't stand a chance against anyone. I would need to play against someone who has also, like, never played chess before. Then maybe it would be a fair fight. We're all just making random moves. No pros could keep up with us. Hanako seems to give a muted laugh, but she could have just as easily been exhaling. Good night, Hisao. With that, Hanako quickly retreats into her room, located next to Lily's. I start to walk back to my dorm, but the simple act of walking seems to drain me of my energy. I barely make it to my room before I'm hit by a wave of exhaustion. I kick off my shoes, fall into bed, and fall asleep by the time my head hits the pillow. Dude, brush your teeth, man. Alright, nope, okay, hopefully you'll do that tomorrow morning then. Sicko. Yuck. Pull my door closed. No, 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 no! Ready for another day of classes. Sleep well? Kenji's sudden arrival makes me jump, and I narrowly avoid butting heads with him. I know he has poor eyesight, but he knows who I am now. Does he still have to stand this close? Oh, yeah, like a baby. Damn, why do people say that? Have you ever heard a baby sleep? They scream, all night, every night. Babies don't sleep well, ever. Well, there goes my restful state. I have to remember to never use figures of speech with Kenji. Alright, I get your point. It was a figure of speech. Yeah, sure, whatever. Where were you last night? I had a favor to ask you, but you weren't around. For a split second, I considered telling Kenji the truth, that I was spending time with Hanako and Lily. Thankfully, that split second passes as soon as it came. I was just out, checking out the local area and stuff. You know, recon. Good man, good. I knew you were the type to plan ahead. Anyways, what was this favor you wanted? I was going to get some takeout, but I needed change. Wait, what? I gave you money last week and you still haven't paid me back. And I was starting to think you were cool. Kenji fishes around in his pocket and produces his wallet. As he counts out the 400 yen he owes me, I can clearly see at least two 10,000 yen notes. Hey, what the hell? Why are you borrowing money off me when you've got that much cash? Kenji hisses a little, realizing that he's been had. Get off my case, man. It's bad luck to break a big note for anything less than half its value. It's the tycoon's rule. Last night's dinner is going to cost me 7 years of bad luck. 7 years! Don't you think that's enough cause to help someone out? I'd get a shorter sentence if I just stole this stuff. My common sense screams at me to say something to him, but thankfully I restrain myself. Arguing a point like this with Kenji will just lead to further and more complicated discussions. Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe you should plan these things out a little better? Yeah, man, I know, but I've just got so much stuff to do, it's hard. And you're never around anymore, so I'm on my own. We're supposed to be brothers in brotherhood, remember? Yeah, I get you. Global conspiracy and such. I'll keep my ear to the ground. Oof. Kenji draws close enough for me to get a clear whiff of his garlic-tainted breath. Oof. You'd better, man. You're already spending less time here. That's the first thing they do. They'll try to split us up. Divide and conquer. Sun Tzu said that. Roger that. Now I've got to be going. I've got classes. You coming? Nah, I'm tired. I stayed up all night just to make sure nothing was going to happen after splitting that note. As rational as ever, I see. Whatever. Night. Did it. Kenji scurries back into his room and I hear him throwing his locks as I walk down the hallway. Always difficult. And that is why some people can't roll their tongue, or why their second toe is longer than their big toe. Muto beams a half-moon smile at us, obviously proud of his explanation of recessive genes. However, no matter how impressed he is at the science that defines who we are, the classroom seems to be reduced to a stupor. Why is it that a bad explanation can make even the most interesting thing seem worthless? I can see Muto deflate as he realizes that nothing he's said in the past half hour has sunk in. Whispered conversations start to break the silence, and like an avalanche, the noise level in the class starts to rise. Defeated, Muto identifies some questions from the textbook and sets the clearing off the blackboard. Almost as if expected, Hanako packs up her things and leaves as soon as people start talking and laughing among themselves. The initial shock of seeing someone play so blatantly truant has started to fade, but it doesn't stop me from wondering. Is she leaving because she doesn't want people to speak to her? Or is it just the thought of people around her shattering her peace? Before I can think about the topic any further, the lunch bell rings. I wonder if she was simply taking the opportunity to leave early. The usual clamor of students exchanging books for lunch reverberates around the room, and while Misha is distracted, I grab my lunch and head out the door. Lily already sits in the tea room, setting out her lunch alone. So Hanako's not here then? Oh, Hisao, how are you? I haven't met Hanako since this morning, I'm afraid. That's right, Hanako and Lily live next to each other. I learned this just last night. I do not need to be telling the player that again. Somehow, I think their morning conversations are slightly more grounded than Kenji's ramblings. That's strange. She left class early, so I figured that she'd come here. So, she's still leaving class early. Huh. Yeah, I've seen her do it a few times. Lily drops her head a little, and her tone of voice is notably depressed. It's very reminiscent of someone who is used to hearing bad news. I was so sure that she'd stop doing that once you two became friends. Everyone has their own pace, I suppose. Well, I was wondering about just that today. Why exactly does she leave? I'm not entirely sure myself. I personally think it's because she doesn't want to be put in a situation where she has to answer someone. I have a flashback of my first meeting with her, when I thought she looked like a cornered animal. Maybe I wasn't far from the truth. But she seems fine talking to you, and with me, a bit. It's a little more complex than that. I imagine that the first thing most people ask her about is her scars, and what happened. She rarely talks about it with me, but I can tell that she doesn't like to remember whatever happened back then. Leaving class and running away from discussions is her preemptive strike, if you will. Huh. So then, how does that explain her talking to me? Well, you said it yourself yesterday at breakfast. You tried to ignore her scars. Once she saw that you weren't going to ask her about that, she opened herself up to you. I guess you're right. Maybe. I don't know. You know her better than I, so I'll take your word for it. Oh, I wouldn't worry about that. I'm sure you'll come to know her as well as I do soon enough. I welcome the prospect of having a new friend, and the two of you have such similar interests. Well, I hardly count reading as a team sport. It is good to have company, though. That's my point. Hanako is still an average person at heart. She also wants company at times like that. Huh, I see. I think. To be honest, both of you still confuse me a little. That's only natural, Hisao. We've only known each other for a little while. Yeah, like, what has it been, like 8 or 9 days now? Like, calm down. It's unreasonable to expect you to understand us, just as we can understand you. But that is half the fun of becoming friends, right? Come on, I'm the main character of a visual novel. I'm the most bland person in the world. You know all about me. Yes, is what I meant. Yes, it is. Although, I suppose there is the matter of us being opposite genders. Men and women do seem to confuse each other quite often. She says this with a light giggle, finding amusement at the odd little details of life. I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to start eating. No, go ahead. I think I'll eat something too. I've got some books I want to drop back at the library before classes start, so I'd better get a move on. You'll probably find Hanako there as well. If you do see her, can you tell her to stop by my room later tonight? I'd like to talk to her. You're not coming? Unfortunately, I have a class representatives meeting later, so I'll be gone as soon as I've finished my lunch. Okay then, if I don't see her in the library, then I'll tell her in class. I'm sure she'll be back after lunch. We fall silent as we start to eat, and I take a second to reflect on our conversation. I've always thought that Hanako's shyness was simply due to her being self-conscious of her scars. But that is a pretty superficial way of looking at her. Just when I thought I was able to see through the fog of Lily and Hanako, I realized that I'm more lost than when I started. Lily quickly finishes her lunch, acutely aware of her meeting. I don't blame her. Shizune is most likely going to be there, and I doubt she wants to give her the satisfaction of another argument. I must be off. Same time tomorrow? Same time, same channel. I'd better head off too. I don't want to risk being late. Man, how long is their lunch breaks, man? I had time to, like, eat and then play, like, 40 minutes of... What did I do during high school lunch? Magic. I might have played Magic. Lily smiles gently, picks up her cane, and walks out into the hall. I turn my back on Lily as we head in opposite directions. For some reason, I find myself hoping she doesn't get into another fight with Shizune. As much as I like Lily, Shizune and Misha have been pretty instrumental in helping me adjust, even if half of our conversations are thinly veiled recruitment attempts. Then again, I barely know either of them. Maybe they were previously leaders of some kind of secret society, but their love for each other drove them apart. Man, I need to stop reading cheap fiction. It's rotting my brain. Either that or I've got to move away from Kenji and his bad influence. It's sad that I can't tell the two apart anymore. Yeah, that's a little worrisome. Right, well, we got a nice black transition right there, so I'm going to leave this episode here as we head off into the library to return our books and, let's be serious, probably find Hanako, because plot relevancy and all that. But we got to go to a girls' dorm at night. Ooh, exciting. How much more risque can we get? Are we going to hold hands sometime? I hope not. That'd be disgusting. I'm supposed to remind you to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Until next time on Katawa Shoujo, goodbye.